Welcome back, WNST, Towson, Baltimore, and Baltimore Positive. A shirt says so out on the front. We are into what we consider to be our favorite time of the year. It is a Festivus for the rest of us. Dennis Koulatsos joins us now from Coons Forest Security Boulevard. He will be here on Thursday from 3 until 5. Dennis, I've been cleaning out the radio station. I've been cleaning out my condo the last couple of weeks, going through things. First thing I want to share with you is I found this picture the other day, and I put it up on the days behind me. This is David Modell and Coach carrying the trophy down Owings Mills Boulevard, the World Championship in Baltimore County. I had it up on the behind me here. I got Coach Billick with the Super Bowl trophy behind me. I'm trying to get into it. I'm wondering whether the purple lights that have been nothing but bad luck since 2006, whether I should leave them alone or break it out. I've decided to go with a little bit of a hockey playoff beard here, maybe for a couple of days. I want to do something that's different from what we've done the last couple of years because we need more mojo this year, right? I mean, this has got to be the year where we're coming in as the underdog. We're going on the road, but we're not even an underdog. We're favored in Tennessee this week, Dan.
I didn't get that. I didn't catch that. But I'm not surprised. But if any year you're going to go on a road, right, as a wild card team, this is a year. Not sure how significant, if any, home field advantage is these days. I was hoping we'd travel to Tennessee versus Indianapolis. We already beaten the Colts once this year, and I think we do owe the Titans a payback twice-fold, right? So I like the matchup. I like the mojo of the team. I like their intensity. I like the way they're finishing. They're playing their best ball of the year, Nestor, on both sides of the ball. And if you talk about getting back Calais Campbell and Jimmy Smith, this team is getting healthy at the right time, and it's peaking, unlike last year, at the right time as well.
What's it mean to beat up on these teams the last 5 weeks? I mean, I'm trying to find – it doesn't mean anything if you don't beat Tennessee. If you're still not playing football next week, this whole season was a mess. You'll look back on it and say, well, they didn't put themselves in a position and they weren't good enough. They didn't tackle Derrick Henry or, whatever is going to happen at Sunday at 1 o'clock is going to define their season. It won't be, well, what happened on Thanksgiving or COVID or it's like last year. Yeah, you went out to Seattle and beat them up. You beat L.A. up and, you flexed your muscles. You ran for 400 yards against Cincinnati. You broke some ankles. Mm-hmm. The only thing that matters, and we knew this last year when they lost to Tennessee, was where they were going to be. I love the way they're playing. I love the momentum they have. I love their opponent. I think – this is set up about as well as we could have hoped it. And I talked to Luke about this earlier. When Luke and I walked out of the building last year, that quiet, like as awful as it was when they fell behind by 3 touchdowns, the whole deal last year, the best you could hope for would be a position to be in better shape this year. I kind of feel like they are in some sort of weird way.
Well, you have to think that this team was wishing that Tennessee would be their first opponent. Look, I don't know if they're going to be like Captain Ahab's Moby Dick, but this is a team that you want. This is a team that has, as you mentioned, knocked them out of the playoffs last year when they were heavily favored. Beat them at home this year in overtime in a game that I think had the coaching staff kept feeding J.K. Dobbins, they would have been able to come away with a victory. I think they learned a lot from that game. And the nice thing is Tennessee's defense isn't that good. It just isn't. Their offense is very good. They can put up points via the ground with Derrick Henry, of course, and their receivers. But defensively speaking, they're a mess. They can't stop the run. And I think if the Ravens focus on running the ball and passing when they have to, or maybe using play action off of the run rather, they can come away with a victory against these Titans.
I like the fact that they're almost a whole group, right? Like I'll go back to that moment when Ronnie Stanley fell down. And I remember I had some Pizza John's pizza in the oven. I was like getting up to get it. I turned around. I said to my wife, I'm like, they can't win a Super Bowl without him. I hope I'm wrong, and by the way, Buffalo, no joke, right? Kansas City, well rested, right? So all of that is – the Ravens are not the best team left in this tournament right now to my eyes or anybody else's eyes, but they're going to have an opportunity to prove that they're a better team than they were in October. And I think these last 5 weeks, the way that Lamar's thrown the ball, the way they've controlled down and distance, the way the offensive line has come around, the way the defense has played, even some pass rush. I like that they have played clean football the last 4 or 5 weeks. They're playing well, but they're not making mistakes. And I think that bodes well for how this is going to go momentum-wise. I like the fact that they're playing this week instead of having a week off. I think that they're in it, like Buffalo. Buffalo might have had a week off this year, right? They don't. They have to play. I think that's going to serve teams that are playing well better right now.
No, I agree with you, and to me the mantra has to be remember the Titans, right? Remember what they did, not just last year but this year as well. This game has a lot of ramifications to it, important to the franchise, to the organization. Lamar Jackson hasn't won a playoff game in his career with the Ravens, right? 3 years in, still looking for that elusive first victory in the playoffs. So I think it is critical that they get past the Titans. And after that, we're playing with house money, right? Given what you mentioned in regards to the injuries this year suffered by the offensive line and also on the defensive side of the ball. So I think this is a monumental game for the franchise. They've got to be able to get past these Titans, the same team that met on their logo, pregame the last time they were at M&T Bank Stadium, the team that John Harbaugh jawed with and took offense with, right? They've got to back up their coach. They didn't do it the last time, but now they have a huge chance for redemption. And to me, that's what this game is about, Nestor. It's redemption. There's a chance for them to exercise all these demons that I just mentioned.
There's a part of like sort of, urine and vinegar and, your Essex and my Dundalk or your Sidonia and my East Point that we would say, well, we get down there and dance on their logo. That's not Harbaugh style. You know what I mean?
Correct.
But don't think that's not going to get brought up this week, right? I mean, there's no doubt about that. As much as it's like Coach Billick with the spear and the banshees, right? Like literally. And, I keep bringing this picture up because this is really what it's about. And I think for the franchise – and to your point, I brought this up with Luke Sunday night when we first got together. I said, this is important for the franchise. I mean, they haven't won a playoff game since 2014. Like, they haven't won a game. For Marlon Humphrey and Orlando Brown and Mark Andrews and Lamar Jackson and Brandon Williams, who hasn't won a playoff game, right? I mean, there are guys that have been around here a while who haven't won a playoff game. I mean, Jimmy Smith to go back to the Super Bowl, right? So and now he's going to come back. Calais Campbell's been wanting to win January football. Mark Ingram, these veteran guys, this is what it's all about. And I think for the franchise and for what DaCosta is trying to do here moving forward, and for what John's trying to do with Lamar Jackson moving forward, to go out there and lose as a favorite, and for Lamar to have to go back down to Pompano all winter and have another one of those, boy, you start to enter that place where the Texans were, the Bengals were, right? Marvin wound up 17 years into it, right? That he's trying to get the Lions job or whatever this week. Didn't win in January. That sits with you for 51 and a half weeks, and we're in that half right now. We're in that week where this is the only time you have a chance to do anything about that. And I think that becomes something that gets heavier and heavier to carry up the mountain if you don't go win this week as a favorite in Tennessee.
Yeah, Nestor, this game feels very, very personal to me. I can't think back to when their coach, Mike Vrabel, said in his post-game presser that they felt like they were getting to the Ravens, that the Ravens were wearing down in the fourth quarter, that they knew that they can beat them once they took them into deep water and drown them, which in fact they did. So I would love to tweet out Sunday evening that, hey, coach, it looks like the Ravens got to you. It looks like you guys were wearing out, like you guys were giving up. So I would like to tweet that out, and I hope this team can back it up and make sure that narrative comes true, because nothing would make me happier for this team to take down. I couldn't think of a better opponent for their first playoff matchup this year, Nestor.
Dennis Koulatsos is here. He is at Coons Florida Security Boulevard. He'll be here on Thursday doing the D. Koulatsos Show, which is the place to find him out on Twitter, as well as Sunday morning before the game, which is a 1 o'clock game, right? So as Coach Baldinger always says to me, the light for the fruit fly is 7 days. Football players play at 1 o'clock on Sunday. That's the way they do it. I got to throw a little curveball at you here, because I was watching the Steelers and the Browns. My wife started jawing at me when it was 38-3. She's like, really? Come on. There's other games. Put Red Zone on, So I put the Red Zone on, and I'm watching the Browns and the Steelers. I found myself rooting not for the Steelers, but against the Browns. Like, I don't want them – I've decided I like them less than the Steelers now because of that kid at quarterback, and because of the whiny fans, and because of the we've never won anything, and you're all out to get us and all that. I am going to be rooting for the Steelers on Sunday night because I've just found myself that offended by the Browns, whatever their moxie is, whatever their bravado is, right? Like, I just want to see Baker Mayfield lose, and that feels weird to me.
Yeah, of course. They flashed to the end of that game between the Browns and the Steelers, and man, just to think that the Browns almost lost to Mason Rudolph, right? A backup quarterback playing with backup players for the Steelers, and to watch this kid Mayfield, to your point, in this post-game presser, arrogant, wouldn't even look at the camera, kept looking away, couldn't wait to stop the interview to go out and celebrate. To me, he's so unlikable. I have to agree with you. I wish him nothing but continued, you know, bad karma and mojo that this organization has had since forever, right? Since the Ravens, the team moved to Baltimore. But yeah, he's very, very unlikable.
I'm looking around for my dumb Trumpy signs because I found them from 1996, and it has the Bob Trumpy quote on the bottom. I was going to read it. What's it? Cold hot dogs, empty fields, whatever. Yeah. That's what I wish the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
So there, 25 years in, all your awfulness, you've made me hate you. And you never, the Browns have never done anything to us. They've never hurt us ever, right? Like, literally. And how I could feel this way about Baker Mayfield this far into it, good for me. Good for me. That's how I feel as a football fan.
Well, the nice thing, by the virtue of beating the Steelers, right, it's a second-string squad, the reward is they get to travel back to They get to go to Pittsburgh and face Ben Roethlisberger and the starters. And then, again, I do expect a first-round exit by this organization, and like to see what that presser looks like when they lose by 20 to the Steelers, which I fully expect them to. You know, again, Baker Mayfield is highly unlikable. To me, he's not a leader. And look, he's lucky he's got a good defense and a good running game behind him, because he can't take this team to the next level. They will never win a Super Bowl with Baker Mayfield. I can't even see them winning a playoff game with him at quarterback.
Well, this is their chance to lose one on Sunday night. Hopefully we're in the winner's circle. Dennis, are you going to be rooting for Tom Brady on Saturday night? I mean, the Washington football team, I'll tell you what, Sunday night, watching the Eagles just roll over to let the Redskins into the playoffs –
that was bizarre.
There's really weird stuff going on, but when teams stop trying because they want the 6th pick instead of the 9th pick, or, you know, whatever goes into the psychology of all of that, probably, you know, at the Jeffrey Lurie level, I don't know. I mean, that was kind of tough to watch, but the Washington football team hosting playoff games and welcoming Tom Brady into the nation's capital under the bright lights, it's dogs and cats, these playoff, scenarios and the weirdness of all of this, and the Colts and the Bills. And I just hope we have a little run in us. You know, I hope we have some excitement in us, because politically, not so good right now. Obviously, economically, COVID, all those things happening. The Ravens have been this purple sunshine in my world on Sundays where the world stops a little bit. I want that to continue for another week or two.
I would agree with you. And the matchup between the Buccaneers and the Washington Football Club, look, to me, the big story there is Alex Smith, right? If you saw that ESPN 30 for 30 with Alex Smith, you can't help but root for this young man and his family, right? But for me, nothing better for me to watch than a Ravens-Buccaneer Super Bowl in Tampa Bay. Tom Brady against Lamar Jackson would be a dream come true, a dream matchup. But luckily for us, as you mentioned, the Ravens are very much in the mix. They're in a hunt. We're still watching football, and you can feel the civic pride, right? Everybody's proud. Everybody's wearing the purple, and that's something that, you know, these playoff runs lift the entire community and give us something to look forward to this weekend.
I know you appreciate this, being a guy from the East Side. My parents are buried over at Gardens of Faith. Right in Rosedale, Overly area, right by Overly High School. Mm-hmm. And, I went over to visit my parents last week. I'm in the car, I'm driving along, and I made the turn on the Lillian Holt Drive, and there was a car in front of me, and I hadn't seen Ravens flags on a car in a little while. Maybe they're out there. Maybe they're on the highway cutting my wife off. I don't know. But I looked up, and they had 2 flags. One was the flag from 01, and one was the flag from 12, and I recognized them, and they were flying on the car. And I'm like, Yeah, yeah. Put the flags back on the car out there. So, I think there's a part, maybe I'll get the purple lights. The purple lights were a bit of a whammy, Dan, and they're a little warm. They get me a little warm inside the new Baltimore Positive swag I had. But there was something fun about having the purple lights out. So, but I'm not convinced that they were helpful. I bought them in 2006. Do I need to say anything else?
Hey, Nestor, we have a great coaching staff, a great quarterback, great running game, great defense, great special teams. So never mind luck, right? We need a measure of that as always. But I like our chances. This team is built to make a long run into the playoffs, maybe pull off an upset or two. And as you know, once you get into the tournament, anything could happen. That ball takes some very, very funny bounces.
The most superstitious guy or stupidstitious guy on earth was this guy right here. David Modell was as superstitious. Can I tell a Modell story for you? Because
Sure.
this will tell you. I love David, right? So anytime I get a chance to show off David and the memory of David, and so this picture just showed up in a stack over the weekend, so I pulled it out. So we're in St. Louis the last year that the Modells owned the team, and we're playing like a Monday night or Sunday night game. It was a night game at the old TWA Raymond James Dome, whatever the heck they were calling it, Edward Jones Dome. And we lost the game. It was the bowler era, I guess, right? Probably 04, 05 era. And my wife had a medical issue in the morning. And we were in the lobby of the hotel really early, stupid early, 5:30, really early in the morning. And we ran into David and his wife, Michelle, who I love. And they saw us. So, what are you guys doing? We're like, we're going to get a taxi. We're probably going to go get some coffee. We need to find a pharmacy. My wife's diabetic. We need to get to the pharmacy. He's like, no problem, man. I got a car. We'll give you a ride. And he's like, so we get ready to get in. He had like a little town car, and he's like, we're going out for coffee. I'm like, great. He's like, now listen. Now, you know me, however long it was at that time. I knew him a decade at the time. He's like, you know me a decade. If you get in the car with me today, and we do anything, and we lose tonight, I will never allow you in the car. Game day will be over for you and I. I'll never have a coffee with you again. It's true. This is a true story. So we went and had coffee. We went to the pharmacy. We took funny pictures in the pharmacy. Girls aren't wearing makeup. I have these really funny pictures of us having coffee, unshaven, just stupid pictures friends would take. I've never shared, never will. And we lost that game that night. Later in the year, we were in San Francisco, and we were in a square, and David and Michelle saw us, and they ducked behind the counter so they didn't run into us. And we played Oakland, and I think we lost that game. That was the horrible loss we took to Oakland, if you remember, on the road, Christmas week. Mm-hmm. And they purposely avoided us because they didn't want to run into us because we were bad luck. So that's how stupid-stitious that they told us they ducked behind the counter to Macy's on the square in Union Square in San Francisco because they felt like we were bad luck. So, I don't subscribe to such things, but I'm telling you, there's something about those purple lights that give me the creeps, Dan. I'm saying.
I don't believe you because, look, I used to be superstitious. Greek people in general, and I guess Mediterranean people in general tend to be very superstitious. But Nolan Ryan said that superstitions are for weak minds, and that turned me around. I was probably in my mid-30s when I heard that quote, and ever since then, I have not been superstitious. I don't give any energy to anything that's remotely superstitious, just so you know.
Neither do I, just so you know. I mean, neither do I.
There you go.
But there is something weird about the purple lights.
I love the purple lights.
That have not been lucky. Maybe this is the year that changes that.
You know what? Keep them burning. They have nothing to do with the outcome.
And then we'll prove that it has nothing. That's a good point. That is Koulatsos is here. You can hear such wisdom, deep wisdom. As Thursdays 3 until 5, the D Koulatsos show. You can follow that wisdom out on Twitter, and you can follow that wisdom like Luke Jones' sister did, who's pregnant. Uncle Luke getting out to Coons Florida Security Boulevard and buying a new or pre-loved vehicle. What are you doing out there? 2021. Anything different about cars this year from last year?
Oh, absolutely. Because if we stay the same, we risk going out of business. So
we perish.
Yeah, I'm always fighting sameness. So we have goals. We have new product coming in. We're always hiring people. We're growing. So we're looking forward to dynamic 2021. We look to get better, just like the Baltimore Ravens and Baltimore Positive. We follow that same mantra. Getting
Well,
better all the time.
we are getting better. This could be a great week. Then I'm reaching back into the Wayback Machine and grabbing some Super Bowl 35 heroes to kind of inspire us a little bit. Some Ghost of Tennessee and Nashville past. Some Tennessee friends I have that have become Titans fans that have moved down. So we're gonna have some fun around here this week. I know you're going to be great on Thursday. I'm looking forward to joining you. It's a Festivus week. We gotta put our best foot forward here. It's January, New Year, new playoff run, and big goals here. Trying to get back to Tampa. Sounds good. Going to Tampa and win a Super Bowl, right? That's another reason to pull this picture out, right?
Hey, Juan, load up the camper. We're heading to Tampa. I'd love to hear that again. Just
I
like
don't
in
remember that
2000.
one, but I'm willing to join in.
Not the
Here's Dennis.
Dundalk phrase, by the way. Not Essex.
Nah, it sounds more Essex than Dundalk, but we'll argue that next week. Dennis Koulatsos, I'll be on his show Thursday afternoon. So will Luke. Luke will be out in Owings Mills all week long. If you're on our WNST tech service, you get the breaking news first. All brought to you by our friends at Coons Ford of Security Boulevard. I'm stepping out, taking a break. We got great coverage all week, leading you up to the big game on Sunday, 1:00 out in Nashville, Tennessee. I am Nestor. We are WNST.net, AM 1570, Towson, Baltimore, and we never stop talking Baltimore positive.